At 4ZZZ, we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we broadcast. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging of the Turrbal and Jagera people. We acknowledge that their sovereignty over this land was never ceded.
And we stand in solidarity with them.
You're listening to Transmission on 4ZZZ, amplifying the trans and gender non-conforming voices of Brisbane and beyond.
You are listening to the Transmission Hour here on 4ZZZ. I am your host, your favourite abomination about town, Sean, and my pronouns are punching above their weight, she, her. So today we're going to be talking about a few different things. We're going to be talking about sport and transition and the delicate art of using your body to knock people to the ground. Yes, that's right. I am finally going to talk about roller derby on air instead of just making vague allusions to it. But before we get into that, a couple of things. Just want to do a quick shout out to all our subscribers out there. Thank you very much. This station runs on subscriptions. It is the lifeblood. Subscriptions and volunteers. And when I say lifeblood, I don't mean that there's a machine downstairs that we take you down to and force you through to drain the blood out of you, although I know that there are some of you out there who would love that. No, we survive because you give. So thank you very much to all the subscribers out there. And if you can manage to dig deep and pay for a subscription, a full price subscription is only $70. It's less than the cost of a cup of coffee a month. So think about that. Think about how it's not just about paying for your listening enjoyment, but paying for the listening enjoyment of so many others who might not be in a position to pay. So,
huge thanks to Chris, a first-time subscriber here at 4ZZZ. He heroically decided to grab a full subscription and even threw in a $5 tax-deductible donation just to mix things up. Here's a few things Chris gets access to now that he's a subscriber. Discounts at all of our subscriber discount outlet locations, chances to win a number of prizes in any one of our cool giveaways, cheaper tickets to all 4ZZZ events, and a healthy dose of warm inner glow. There are heaps of perks to being a subscriber, so be like Chris and head to 4ZZZ.org.au and subscribe today.
You're listening to Transmission on 4ZZZ, amplifying the trans and gender diverse voices of our community. My name is Sean. I am your abomination about town, and my pronouns are missing 100% of the shots that they didn't take. She, her. Today we're going to be talking about sport. Surprisingly, a lot of the gender non-conforming people and trans people that I know are involved in sport, funnily enough. And I have one of them here in the studio with me today. I have my dear friend Archie here, better known as the Skateriatchy. We've had a long conversation about how difficult people find it to pronounce that name. So, yes, the Skateriatchy is here, and I am delighted to get to skate with Arch. We are often paired against each other in that. For those of you who don't know how roller derby works, it is effectively a running race on skates done in a circle, and each team has a point scorer, and the point scorer is referred to as the jammer, and Arch and I are jammers, and we are often pitted against each other. Yep. I'd like to think that we're actually pretty evenly matched.
I think so. I think that's probably why they put us against each other.
It's quite
instead
delightful.
Of on the same team.
Yeah. They go like, look, let's just have the gender non-conforming people fight it out for a while. It's quite nice. Yeah. There's a lot of solidarity on track while we hit each other.
A little laughing.
Yeah. So I wanted Arch to come in today to talk a little bit about their experience with sport. It's obviously one of those hot topics that we keep coming across. Obviously, we're going to have some Olympics coming up soon, and Brisbane is going to be hosting the Olympics, apparently. And I felt it would be an excellent opportunity to remind people about a few different things about sport, gender, and the ways in which, community overlaps into all of that. So, Arch, welcome. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
What's your pronouns, babes?
They, he.
They, he. Yes, that's right. My dear friend Arch here. You're trans-masc, non-binary.
Yep.
So, I suppose my first question to you is, what came first, the gender non-conformity or the roller derby?
Like so many eggs, the roller derby.
So you started back in 2017, I'm thinking. Is that right?
Yep.
What was that like?
Lots of fun. I kind of just Googled roller derby because I remembered it existed, and I was like, holy shit, I should play that.
You stumbled in.
And I just stumbled in, and I went for it, and I met so many amazing, awesome people, and then realised, oh wait,
something's afoot.
Something is different here.
But you always, and you'd always consider yourself queer. Similar to myself, for a long time you knew that.
Yeah, I knew I was, like, queer as shit from the minute I could walk. Like many 90s children, Nikki Webster was all over the TV for me, and I was like, she's really pretty, I want to kiss her. And so, yeah, strawberry kisses.
Yeah, that's a thing. Text in on 0420 626 733 if strawberry kisses were your queer awakening. I'm sure that's...
I feel like it's very niche to me. Most people are like, okay, Archie, when I tell them this. But I'm like, I'm just being loud enough so that everyone else feels that they can say it too.
Yeah, that's right. You are forging a path forward into the world. So shout out to Nikki Webster, wherever you may be. So yeah, so you started roller derby. Obviously, we felt as though you were part of the queer community and found a connection to people there. But it wasn't until later, of course, that you considered that, gender questions were being had for yourself.
Yeah, like, I always just knew I was a really good ally. Like a lot of baby trans people, I was like, yeah, no, I'm just an ally. I'm definitely not trans. And then, yeah, getting to meet new people in my life and forging really lovely friendships and relationships with trans people. And then COVID happened. And we all got to sit with ourselves for more than 5 minutes. And I was like, oh, yeah, maybe there is something more to this. And then 2020 came out, just sort of went ham with
I want
it.
to do a shout out here to COVID trans. I know there's a lot of, like, pardon my language, get one for the swear jar, some shithead discourse online about, you're only COVID trans. And I'm like, no, I am a valid COVID trans. I was isolated from the world. I stopped performing my gender.
Yep.
And then I realised that I was much happier not having to do that. It is an entirely valid way to discover that you were trans or non-binary. So shout out there to my COVID trans she's, he's, theys, and thems. Yes. So COVID hit.
Yep.
You had a self-discovery, but obviously, growing up, queerness was never really a thing that was shameful in your family or anything like that. There was no.
Like, I grew up with a social worker for a mum.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and now I'm in social work too.
Oh,
the apple does not fall far. But yeah, no, it wasn't a huge shameful thing. Like, my mum's dad is a gay man, and so my mum grew up in Bjelke era with a gay father who was outed by many people and stuff. So it kind of was always this, yeah, gay people exist, it doesn't matter, sort of mindset in my family, which was really nice. Yeah,
it's extraordinary, when you allow there to be fertile ground for growth, what can happen in families.
Yeah,
it's a delight. So obviously the roller derby community was a factor in your change in this outlook. I remember you telling me about how that you'd had contact with trans people before, but you never quite landed that connection, and it was only when you were sort of deeply embedded in this community.
Yeah, I think I'm a very introverted extrovert in that I will be extroverted in very small settings and scenarios, and so I didn't have a very large friend group to begin with, and then when I joined roller derby I found a bunch of people who were very similar to me, and so finding those people was actually really hard pre-roller derby, because queers as a whole, we all sort of segregate ourselves into these tiny little pockets of society because it's safer there. And so infiltrating those pockets is really hard when you're on the outside to begin with. So I think roller derby was that little lunge in for me to find more.
And certainly that was my experience too. And as well as my experience of sort of meeting you and connecting with you, dear listeners. I was kind of standing on the infield one day watching the thing play out, and Arch and I just kind of put our heads together and was like, so what's going on? What's the word around the place about? And just suddenly became this little covert, circle of non-conforming people talking about what was going on with all the cisgendered nonsense out there. It was actually quite delightful. I felt very safe and very protected.
Amplifying the voices of the trans and gender non-conforming community of Meanjin, Brisbane and beyond.
Transmission on 4ZZZ brings you the latest in trans community news, music and events.
every Tuesday from 9am till 10am.
Join our team of hosts for an hour of celebrating the unique perspectives of the trans community.
Transmission, Tuesday mornings from 9am till 10am on 4ZZZ.
You're listening to Transmission on 4ZZZ. My name is Sean. I am your abomination about town, and my pronouns are the reward for the team who wanted it more. She, her. I'm here today with the magnificent Archie, better known as the Skateriatchy, who skates with Brisbane City Rollers. Full disclosure, I also skate with the Roller Derby League, the Brisbane City Rollers. And if you were listening before, Archie and I often knock each other to the ground on a regular basis, which is really nice.
It's really nice, in a loving way.
Yeah, in a loving way, with love and compassion and care and kindness and not wanting to hurt, but definitely...
Roller derby is just loving people really hard to the ground.
To the ground. Yeah. Definitely want to body slam you with love.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about sport, and obviously, you know, the background here, Archie is here chatting to us all about, you know, their journey. You want to throw out your pronouns again to the world, Arch?
Yes, my pronouns are they, he.
Yes. So Arch and I skate together in roller derby, and we both skate for Brisbane City Rollers. What was your experience of, like, the league itself as an organisation and the people when you joined up?
Yeah, I think when I first joined up, I noticed pretty quickly how very queer it was.
It's so queer.
It's just so effing gay.
Oh, it's so gay.
And the amount of people who date each other in the league and then break up and then date each other, it's just great. I love it. I love the drama. It's so much fun. But
it is a real breeding ground for queerness, gender nonconformity, and polyamory, I gotta say.
Oh, there's such a hotbed people in Derby. Yeah. And then there's the baby poly people who get into it, and then there's the sad baby poly people when things bad happen. But it's fine.
It's fine. We are a community. We care for each other. We are friends.
Yeah.
BCR. Look, BCR isn't just about... Brisbane City Rollers is not just about hooking up. I will put that out there. I think the executive and the president would be very upset with me if I didn't declare that it is actually a community sporting organisation with very specific goals about growing the sport of roller derby and forging community and connection across all ages and all genders. Mm-hmm. You know, BCR has quite a significant juniors program as well.
Yeah, our juniors league started up, I think, last year or the year before, and it's growing really rapidly, and the kids are honestly so amazing, and they're going to be so much better than me by the time they're 18.
There are skaters. So Sadie did junior roller derby, and it shows they are terrifying.
People who started when they were young annoy the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Because if I'd started when I was 8, I'd be really good too. But no, I had to start in my 20s, most
like
people.
Everybody else.
But these young kids, they bounce.
They really do.
They bounce and then they get back up, and
they're light and they're small and they're low to the ground. Oh, damn them!
I know.
Why am I so tall and heavy and brittle boned? Yeah.
I'm not even that tall, and it's still really far to go.
It's still really far to fall.
Yeah.
So Brisbane City Rollers does have a significant juniors program, coached by a variety of people who are actual players. I know that some of the gentlemen who used to skate on the men's team that I used to skate with before I transitioned to a lot of the coaching there, and they're all excellent national level skaters.
That's for our rival Brisbane Juniors League. Did you know?
Oh, they even moved over. Oh, they're now with the rival juniors.
Well, they've always been there.
So there's being spilled.
I know, the Little Brisbane Rollers.
Oh, the Little Brisbane Rollers. I mean, I still love them.
They're very sweet.
How could I begrudge them?
They're a great little group, and the coaches are lovely.
Yeah.
But yes, our juniors are called the Sonic Youth.
Oh, ours is the Sonic Youth.
Yes, and they're very cool.
They are cool kids.
And some of our punk blockers, so our A grade team, they coach the Sonic Youth.
So just some terminology there for everybody.
Yes.
So roller derby, yes, very weird. There's a lot of weird, strange names. Remember, for those tuning in, it is a running race on skates that you score points by passing people. So that all often involves knocking them into the ground so that you can pass them, which is a delight. So I mean, the community for Brisbane City Rollers is sort of very notably the very diverse, very queer, very accepting league. There are other leagues in Brisbane. I'd say there were other leagues that sort of more focus on sort of excellence and athleticism and very much about achieving accolades in our rankings and, sort of building towards an international profile, whereas BCR has very much been a create community.
I think we're definitely getting up there, though.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. So hang on, what's the ranking? What's the national ranking?
I think we're still ranked second.
Yes. which is magnificent.
Which is quite nice.
Somewhere second and third. There was some tournaments recently, some national level tournaments, which you skated in.
Yes. And we came third there, which is quite nice. We missed out on going to champs in the US by 3 points.
It's a real shame.
Which is a little bit ouchy, but you know.
This is how it goes.
This is how it goes, and we'll go back again next time.
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, the experience of roller derby, one of the reasons why I was attracted to it initially was obviously because I was trans and didn't know it. No, the reason I was attracted to roller derby in the beginning was because it very much is a sport that accommodates for a lot of different size and shape. The discourse that we see out there in the world about trans people in sport and about the idea of an unfair advantage that a trans femme person might have.
Yep.
Funnily enough, it's very telling that the discourse is always around how a trans femme person has advantage and not a trans masc has advantage.
We love that misogyny, don't we?
Don't we love that? Oh. Don't we just absolutely adore that they're saying the explicit thing, that it is misogyny and that somehow I'm a threat but that you're not. Like,
I know, which makes absolutely no sense because my T levels are higher than yours.
Yeah, you absolutely have more testosterone going on than I do and far more energy. I am dead on the track. That's Archie just wears me down, right? Archie just wears me down and you can skate all day and I am dead.
Oh, I couldn't skate all day. I think you're selling it too much there.
So yeah, it's interesting, obviously, for me being the intersection of what is community sport and all the discourse around what is professional sport, and this very specific misunderstanding that's happening around Olympic level sport in the discourse. I mean, I remember when I first started with roller derby back in 2010, I was skating with a different league, I was living as a man, I was involved with the executive level sort of committee groups. And that was, back then in like 2011, 2012, there was a trans skater had come up from down south and wanted to participate in the league. And there was a lot of conversations going on. There was a lot of discourse around like, oh, what's their hormone levels at? And having to explain to people that like, that's none of your damn business.
Also, that's really fucking weird to ask.
It's a weird thing to want to know.
I don't want to know what your estrogen levels are, my guy.
No.
That's weird.
Yeah. Very, very unusual. And just the way that the public discourse limits our privacy because it gives people the expectation that they can know what I have described exactly what my hormone levels are live on air, but that's my choice. Yeah. Right?
I mean, I couldn't even tell you off the top of the head what my tier levels are because I don't remember.
Why would you need to?
I don't need to know. I get a blood test every now and again and the doctor says, yes, they're good. And I go, sweet. And then I leave.
Yeah.
I don't look at what number it is.
As long as the doctor says it's fine.
That's a number that's useless to me and makes no sense to be in my brain.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's this strange conflation that occurs between the standards that are set for Olympic level athletes, international, the absolute top of their sport, and somehow that has filtered down into community and amateur level sport. Now, while you are on a team that is the second ranked team in the country, second or third ranked team in the country, you're not paid to do this. This is an enthusiastic amateur.
This is roller derby.
It's roller derby, for God's sake.
Nobody's paid to play roller derby.
And even if you did go to champs, even if you travelled to the international level tournament, you'd be doing so on your own dollar.
Hell yeah, we fundraised the crap out of this.
I mean, that was the case for me way back when I was skating as a man on the men's team. You know, going to international level tournaments was at a massive personal expense.
Yeah,
there's no sponsorship agreement. Like, there's no Adidas tracksuit for me.
We're flat out getting sponsorship just to have some nice gear.
Yeah. Also, big shout out. Thank you very much
for the so much 888.
Thank you very much for the gear. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Look, Siege has just texted in. Siege has a significant history with the roller derby community, and in fact is instrumental in ensuring that co-ed derby existed in this state and in this country more broadly. It's delightful to still get to see them around the place here at the Z. So yes, we were talking about international roller derby and international sport. You know, you and I had been talking the other day about the harm that it does, not just to trans people.
Yep.
But also to cisgendered people.
Yeah.
When you start to medicalise and categorise the minutiae of an individual's body chemistry.
Yeah, like we were saying the other day, like, nobody gets to an Olympic level without having some sort of physical advantage.
The Michael Phelps of it all.
Yeah, exactly. There is no way that, like, me, a 175 centimeter kind of chunky person would get to an Olympic level with running in my tiny little legs. Like, it doesn't work that way. You have to have some sort of physical advantage plus all the years of training and craziness. And, like, that showed in that runner from South Africa who everyone accused her of being a trans woman because she was flogging everybody and she looked slightly masculine. So, like, oh no, and they tested her T levels and everything.
Yeah, Caster Semenya.
Yes.
We were talking about her the other day.
Yes.
I made a note of that. Yeah, the harm that it does. So the discourse around, the vile discourse around trans people and the narrowing of parameters with which a person's gender can be expressed harms everyone.
Yeah.
It harms cisgendered people, not in the same ways, obviously, that it harms trans and gender non-conforming people and non-binary people, but it absolutely does cause harm to the point where, as you say, there are people who deserve to be respected for their magnificent talent and dedication to a sport, and they are being stripped of that right. Funny that it seems to always be women and people of colour, though.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
just the misogyny and the racism.
I don't know. I just don't know that I can put my finger precisely on what might be happening there. It's a little bit tricky to pass that one. I mean, what could it be?
It's also, like, just thinking out loud here, like, it also can out intersex people without them even knowing. Like, the amount of people who are medicalised from the time they were infants and it's been kept a secret from them and they can get to this level and people will start looking at them funny and accusing them of things. That's a really horrible way to find out you're intersex. Like, what?
It is. That, I mean, that is that would be a genuine fear, and the feeling as though your body is betraying you because you've been, forced into this box where there's a certain standard being set for your body, and that standard is absurd.
It is absurd because it's based off of just some random things that some cis men, let's be real, cis men made up.
Yeah. And, like we were talking about, like, it's not as though trans people haven't been involved in the Olympics for quite a long time. Yeah. There has been rules and provisions for people who are trans to participate in the Olympics for decades now. And there has not been a influx of trans feminine people destroying all the cisgendered women in sport. There's not been any instance of a massive sweeping shift that is kind of ruining sport for women. I mean, all that hyperbole is quite absurd when you actually look at the trans people who are participating, and they are within the ranges of what is expected of the gender identity that they're presenting as.
And half the time, they're not even winning.
No. I mean, the magnificent Laurel Hubbard, astounding athlete. My God, the amount of weight that she can move. I want her to play roller derby.
I don't.
On my team, I mean. They did not clean sweep everything. They did not, demolish the competition. They gave a magnificent showing, obviously, but that's how things ended there for them. And this entire discourse is just thinly veiled attempts to limit the ways in which trans people can exist in the world.
Yeah. It seems that the only acceptable trans people who are allowed to participate in women's sports are AFAB non-binary people.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
It's really annoying as an AFAB non-binary person who gets lumped in with that because I'm like, I don't look female. I don't look like a woman anymore. And you want me to be, okay, sure, I'll be this Women-Lite for you because that's essentially how they see AFAB non-binary people. Yeah.
Dear listeners, when talking about just how queer Brisbane City Rollers is and just how gender diverse it is, I like to describe that. I mean, I am a trans woman, and I am leaning very much to be binary in the sense of a trans woman, but I am so delighted by how many non-conforming and non-binary people there are in that league, and I describe it as, and I would describe it as, I can't tell whether they're coming or going. There's individuals that I'm like, I have no idea where they started, and I have no idea where they're ending, and I love it so much.
I love when people assume I'm going the other way. I'm just like, thank you. That fills my non-binary cup. I love this so much.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
No, I love it. So if you are someone out there in the world who thinks that you could be involved in some sport, you'd like to have some community and some physical activity, and you would love to enjoy the delicate art of using your body to knock people to the ground, think about roller derby. Brisbane City Rollers is having an intake soon, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's... Is it next month or later this month?
I think it might be this month. Let me just check my notes here.
Got asked to plug it, and I can't even remember the dates.
Yes, Monday the 15th of July. Is that next week? I think it is.
Yes.
Intake. Perfect timing.
As one of the coaches at Brisbane City Rollers.
Don't admit that you didn't know it. This is live on air.
Intake goes for a couple of weeks, so you can rock up on a Monday for the next couple of weeks. If you don't have gear, like protective gear and or roller skates, you can hire them from Brisbane City Rollers, or you can let us know ahead of time. We can make sure that we've got gear for you that'll fit.
Absolutely. So check out the Brisbane City Rollers Facebook page. Yep. Shoot them a message if you need to. Remember, Monday the 15th. It'll be in the evening at the Eagle Sports Complex from 6:30 to 9. And come on down and meet the gang. Meet some she's, he's, theys and thems. They're a delightful bunch. Everyone is welcome, and all levels as well. I keep coming across people who keep doing that thing of like, I'm no good at all on skates, and I'm like, we teach you. They're like, well, I just can't manage to. Like, we teach you how to skate. That's the point. So
I don't just throw you out there and expect you to hit people. That would be suicide.
Exactly. Oh my God. Because that is okay. So now here my brain is doing the thing that I realize I should have been saying all along. All sport is not just a wild melee. Every single sport accommodates for the safety of the individual. Mm-hmm. Boxing, the weight classes are so narrow, it is a couple of kilos in the difference, that a boxer should not fight someone who is a mere scant kilo below the line that they are. It does not happen and would not happen. And roller derby, similarly, has safety practices in place so that someone like me, 6 foot, 90 kilo, broad-shouldered trans woman, isn't actually going to hurt you. The sport is designed so that I can't hurt you in that way, and that if I do anything that could hurt you, I am penalized severely for it. Yeah. The sport is designed to be safe, like all sports are designed.
I have never played a sport with more rules in it in my life.
It's astounding. Yeah, it is astounding.
I started refereeing just so that I could understand the rules better.
Yeah, I used to ref. I can't keep that much in my head.
How many genders are there? I don't know. I just got here.
You're listening to 4ZZZ. This is the tail end of the transmission hour. If you're only tuning in now, you suck. You missed it. My name is Sean. I'm your abomination about town. My pronouns are tens across the board. She, her. Today in the studio, I've had Archie, better known as the Skateriatchy, with me. Say goodbye, Arch.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's been an absolute joy. Also, if no one realised, in the room is also Hazel, who has been shadowing me, and I've just put the hard word on them about how they need to get their shit together and start presenting, babes. You can do this. Everyone wants to hear from you. So, everybody, we hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you very much for tuning in. And remember, it's okay to enjoy using your body to knock people to the ground. In a roller derby context, of course.
Or consensually, either way.
Or consensually. So long as it's consensual, we all love it. All right, everybody, you have a great week, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you so much for listening to Transmission. See you next Tuesday, 9 to 10 a.m. on 4ZZZ.